So I put on my community tab earlier today a picture of a conversation I had on Quantum Eraser's stream. I was talking about how they're too scared to pull up Professor Dave's videos, which fully debunks almost every aspect of their stupid flat earth theories and anti-science rhetoric. They're too scared to pull it up, and I remind them all the time. And this has really gotten to Nathan Oakley. After I said this, Oakley directly addressed me, and people started to ask me dumb questions. Logs Fregs says, Uni, do you think the Earth is rotating? No, I know it is. Sorry. If you want to try to debunk me, how about you tell me where the Terminator line, Earth, the moon, and the sun is, how it works, and make predictions with it better than the globe, and then you can debunk me on that, sir. I don't think you can do it, though. But the main thing I want to show you is that Nathan Oakley admits, yes, that Sleeping Warrior is hashtag Leaking Warrior right here. Do you see it? Let me zoom in. There it goes. Nathan Oakley 1980, moderated on QE's channel, and there it is. So thank you, Nathan, for admitting this. Now, to the people that replied on my post, thank you so much, and I'm going to shout you out and read what you said. Sleeping Warrior question mark? What a bunch of ding-dongs, very much. Who is Nathan to call him this when Dave Murphy drinks his on camera? I know, right? He was just testing mass plus acceleration, lol. And Riley was testing the density force, lol. Hashtag Linking Warrior. So thank you to everyone here. I wish I could gift you guys a membership or something. I can't. I don't have that power. But if I did have that power, I'd hook you up. So what do I want to show you today? Well, I want to show you something that Cats did, Conspiracy Cats, because it's excellent. But before we get there, we're going to take a look at an upload by All on the Plane that was also mirrored by several other ding-dongs. And I'm going to show you how it proves that they are very butthurt and are experiencing heavy cognitive dissonance over that exact same video that I just named inside that chat. Professor Dave Explains. See, barely any of the flat earthers out there have addressed Professor Dave Explains video because they cannot. It contains too many debunks in such an understandable way that if they do address it, they know they're going to start waking up their audiences. And I'm putting out another challenge to Nathan Oakley, Quantum Eraser, Sleeping Warrior, and all the ding-dongs out there. Play all three of Professor Dave Explains Flat Earth Debunk videos and play them out, react to them, and let your audience hear them. Pause it and show where Professor Dave is wrong, like the Globebusters tried to do before Professor Dave completely destroyed them with science and education, by the way. That's my challenge to you, since you ignored my last challenge of trying to explain the Terminator line, the sun, the moon, the earth, and where it is, and make a prediction with what you find out. You didn't do it. I didn't think you would, because it does debunk your stupid flat model. But even more so, this proves that you are very butthurt and very much experiencing cognitive dissonance over Professor Dave's videos that I mentioned. Let's take a look.
On the 27th of March 2019, Professor Dave published a video titled, "The Earth is Definitely Not Flat." From Professor Dave.
Of course, I'm going to go ahead and skip her doing all the dumb stuff she does here, like just dragging the video out to hit the closest to the 10-minute mark as they can get it. I'm going to skip ahead to the points that she starts making, and then we'll discuss them, because they're funny.
Please note the words anti-science and scientific revolution. That's a lot of science.
What is that supposed to mean? Why did you put this in here? Anti-science and scientific revolution. That's so dumb. That's dumb.
The good people at Globebusters responded to Professor Dave in their...
There's a lot of propaganda in this video meant to try to steer the listener to hate Professor Dave for no reason. They don't even give any logic behind why, other than the fact that he debunked their flat earth and they're experiencing cognitive dissonance. And they definitely dunning-kruger like crazy to try to counter it. But anyway, they even express butthurt by be acting like the Globebusters are the nicest guys ever. They are the good people, and Professor Dave is the bad guy.
Episode, The Earth Definitely Is Flat, Debunking Professor Dave.
Well, they didn't debunk Professor Dave in any way, shape, or form. And the video that Professor Dave did and counter to them was so good that it went viral. Did theirs? No, even after they tried to strike it down. See Professor Dave's About section in one of those videos to get the explanation. Anyway, I'll let him keep going.
On the 2nd of July, 2019, Professor Dave published another video titled, "The 10 Things That All Flat Earthers Say."
Yeah, he took that from his comments section. And in the comments section, there was just a boatload of flat earthers saying these 10 things over and over and over, repeating them.
Point 4 in Professor Dave.
Now, do you notice how she said she's going to go through and she said she was going to deconstruct this. Now she skips to point 4, right? How can our atmosphere be next to a vacuum? Well, you have an issue. One, you got blue marble science proving that you don't need a container to have gas pressure, which Nathan Oakley and QE said that you did have to have up until that video was pushed in their face. Then they tried to change what they said from before. Blue marble science noted this in a different video, which completely exposed that Nathan Oakley is willing to lie, be dishonest, and move the goalpost to try to keep his rhetoric going to take in donations. Because we can have our atmosphere next to a vacuum due to the fact of one simple thing that you can prove yourself: the gradient. You see, when you climb a mountain or when you go higher or fly in a plane, in fact, the pressure of the atmosphere gets lower and lower and lower as you go up. So anyone would logically say then that must go up until hitting 0, which is where space begins. But because we call the void of space a vacuum, they assume that it must be like a vacuum cleaner because they have no scientific. It's so dumb, dude. They have no scientific training or experience whatsoever. Listen to what she says about this. It is quite entertaining.
Dave's presentation was 4. How can our atmosphere be next to a vacuum? I'm not a, quote, flat earther, but
you are. You are one. You are being very dishonest.
His dishonesty was in direct contradiction to my bell jar vacuum.
No, it's not in direct contradiction to your bell jar vacuum pump. You just also, this has been fully debunked too, and you've ignored the debunks on it because you don't have an interest in actually finding out if you're right or wrong. Or being peer reviewed. You just want to, do your normal flatty thing, even though you claim not to be one. Why do you call Professor Dave dishonest, though, while assuming you're honest for no good reason whatsoever?
Vacuum pump observation, and most importantly, the second law of thermodynamics.
Once again, that's not true. You don't know the second law of thermodynamics. It has been fully debunked what Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser put out about the second law, but it's still being parroted by all of you guys.
Quotes from the video. You are all quite perplexed about how the Earth's atmosphere can exist next to the vacuum of space.
That is so true. You really are very perplexed. Making giant claims like the second law says that we can't. I mean, just go to Google and type in, does the atmosphere need a container? Or do we need a container for gas pressure to exist? I mean, I don't know. I do it so much, but does the atmosphere require a container? Or maybe gas pressure, but either way. There isn't really a container for our atmosphere, so we need to think of pressure in a slightly different way. All atoms and molecules in the Earth's atmosphere are held by the gravitational force of the planet. No matter how you search this sentence, that explanation comes up. Do you see how you guys are trying to change the laws and trying to lie about thermodynamics in order to make your points?
This one is quite amusing because what's happening is that since you have no science education, your only word for the word vacuum is vacuum cleaner.
That's true. You think that being a vacuum, it should suck the atmosphere away. Oakley said it. Jaron said it. QE said it. I'm pretty sure you've said it, but I don't know. I don't know if you're Karen or which one you are. So, but I'm pretty sure you have. And most flatties say this, parrot this, and think this because you're ding dongs. You really do think vacuum means to suck, and that's why Dave does that little skit. Say it with me. Vacuums don't suck. You need to say that. You need to study this and understand where you're wrong.
And again, because you have no science education, none of you understand how a vacuum cleaner works, which is a
so true.
Problem because you seem to think that outer space is a vacuum cleaner.
Very true. That actually is so accurate. You have to be able to admit that. That's the claim that Huey and Nathan and everyone who says that the atmosphere is without a container is a second law of thermodynamics violation. That's literally what you're saying.
I'm not quite sure what Professor Dave is implying about our level of intelligence and understanding. You decide.
Okay, what in the world does that mean? You're not going to debunk him? You're not going to make a claim here? You're just going to what? Call him dishonest and then not retort against what he's saying here? What in the world?
Professor Dave puts it in simple and understandable words for people without his science education.
He needs to, because you guys don't even, like, his science education is through the roof. He's been doing this for a very long time, teaching people. You guys, on the other hand, have no education. You don't understand science. You demonstrate that constantly, but pretend to be experts. It's called the dunning-kruger effect. So basically, I just told you with a little text box that they do nothing to debunk him. And what do you think Professor Dave does in his response to Globebusters that she leaves out? He says in the very beginning, let's see, 440. In the very beginning of the video, he shows how you can't have a local sun and moon. He goes to show how the seasons work and how all of that is explained super easy with the globe model, and how on a flat model, it is impossible. He shows how that Globebusters gave 2 points. One, they gave about how to explain the local sun and moon, and he debunks that. Then they give something else to explain the seasons. But when they do the seasons, you notice how this is in night and day here, and they take night and day away when they explain the seasons. And Professor Dave goes on at 440, where I just had it queued, to say this.
I could stop right here. If you were to respond to this with anything other than a model that can explain at least those first two observations simultaneously, your viewers should find that very indicative of the fact that you don't have one.
They don't have one. You're right, Dave. And Dave was very good about debunking them and explaining this and showing it. So why do you think, if Globebusters really is... Now remember, the video that I showed you is done right after this video is made. Why did they not give the model? Why don't they show, Professor Dave, we have the model. We can show what the seasons are. We can show why the sun is here and there and the earth is there, how it works on a flat earth. And we can show you, Dave, that it is flat. Because this is how logic works, guys. If you can't show the most basic thing, but the globe model can, and you can't give any explanation to how your flat model could do it, you can't go on after that calling it flat without being dishonest. So I'm going to deem the entire flat earth community dishonest till they do exactly what Professor Dave said to do right here. And ironically, Oakley, Huey, Sleepy, and the rest, this is the challenge I put out to you a few weeks ago. Thanks for watching, guys. Hold them to this. When you see a flat earther saying that it's flat, ask them to do the most basic thing every time. Explain the Terminator line, the sun and the moon and the earth and where it is, how the seasons work, how day and night works, and how it could work on anything but a globe with half of the earth being in day and half of it being in night, and that line down the middle at all times. If they can't explain that and they're claiming that it's flat, then they are dishonest and you need to call them out. See you guys later.